Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. It is a Sunday video update, and I'm the Jer Bear. Happy holidays, much love, Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad. I hope you are all doing well. Today is Sunday, December 20th, 2020. It is 12/20/20. That's today's date. Joining me off camera this week, my dad, and Amos Moses. Amy. Welcome aboard, guys. I hope you had a wonderful week. My week was, my week was, it was okay in the beginning, but, and as much as I hate to have a video, I hate to start off any video on a bad note, I actually have a bone to pick with a particular individual who just can't stop and realize when he's fucked up and made a mistake. So, which I'm going to get to that right off the bat. But before I do that, I got to say, other than dealing with idiots, I'm doing pretty good. My health is good. I've been having a little trouble with sinuses. I don't know, you guys have been having trouble with sinuses and things like that, just the draining sinuses because of the change of the weather. We're expecting a white Christmas this year. It's supposed to be 24 degrees for a high on Christmas Eve, but we're supposed to get like a couple inches of snow, and so we're going to have a white Christmas. That's what they're predicting. And I could give a shit less. If there's snow on the ground or green grass or mud or whatever the case may be, I don't care. Christmas is just another day to me, and I could give a shit less about any of it. But now, moving on to something that needs to be addressed, and hopefully for the last time. Hopefully for the last fucking time. I got a bone to pick with a guy named Tom Mitchell. Now, this has been an ongoing problem for a very long time. This little feud between me and Tom. Because I called him out for being a narcissist in the beginning, and I stand by everything I say about him. He is a narcissist, and he's demonstrated that his narcissism by doing the things he's done. So, and the one thing that I called him out on was the fact that he fostered and perpetuated this rumor about me that's been circulating on Facebook for a very long time, and he's still hung on to it. He put on his Still Brave Childhood Cancer Foundation Facebook page that I was allegedly, it's that rumor that I had brought to your attention before, that allegedly I asked kids if chemo makes their pubes fall out and all that disgusting shit. Well, he perpetuated and fostered that rumor, that claim, has not met its burden of proof. And as many times as I pointed this out, video after video, week after week, small-minded people don't seem to understand on an intellectual level how proper applications of logic and critical thinking apply just about anywhere. And the irony is that these are oncology families. They rely on, evidence. Gee, go figure, right? The hypocrisy is astronomical. But Tom Mitchell, being the guy he is, he just can't help himself. You know, it's like an orgasmic experience for him, that he just can't leave me alone. And I'm going to demonstrate to you. He blew up my house phone and my cell phone. For the past week, he's been calling me every day, morning, noon, and night. And if you don't believe me, well, I got the call logs. And let me put on 04 eyes here. Let's see, recents. So we'll start with there. We'll start right here. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. That's his number, 703-250-8777. Okay? He called me a total of, if this will focus, which I don't think it's going to, but he called me a total of 15 times. So there's once.
One day.
There's, no, not just in one day, over the past week. There's 2 more times, so there's 3, 5, 7, 4 times in one day. 4 times. 11, 12, 13, And I know there's more. Hold on, wait for it. 15. Oh, 16. It was more than what I thought it was. 16 times. Yeah, 16 times he called my cell phone. 16 times. And he called my house phone. Well, let's have a look, shall we? By the way, that is his number. 703. I know it's hard to see, and I do apologize for that. There we go. 703-250-8777. So there's once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's it, 14 times. He called my house phone since December 12th was the first day he called. Non-stop for the past week.
Harassing him.
12 since the 12th. That's over a week. Over a week ago. Is that not the pot calling the kettle black?
And I hung up on him.
Is that not the pot calling the kettle black? You... Uh-oh, my glasses got stuck. You have been accusing me of harassing families, which, by the way, I'm also going to play the voicemail message that he left me on my answer machine, so I'm going to hopefully get some silence here so people can hear this, because I want you to hear it.
No new message.
Well, I know there's no new messages.
Yeah, hi. This is a message again for Wayne Fuller and for Amy, and it's in reference to Jared Fuller. My name is Tom Mitchell with Still Brave Childhood Cancer Foundation, and Jared Fuller has been harassing and aggravating members of the childhood cancer community for years, and it's vile and disgusting the things he says and the things that he does, and I feel that he's got some severely untreated mental illnesses that I'm hoping you guys could step up and try to help him and maybe get him some mental health services so he will have a better outlet for his problems than taking it out on poor people with children who have cancer who are in a lot of pain and discomfort to begin with, including myself. He's attacked me multiple times over the years, and he attacks people. He doesn't realize he's doing it, and he thinks he's justified in doing it. And that's kind of a mental illness. So I'm reaching out as a show of good faith and asking you to please seek mental health services for Jared. Because what he's doing to people is very, very mean. It's very unkind, and it's gross. And it has to stop. And so I want you to please try to get help for him. I'm trying to be a nice guy, and I'm trying to do this in a calm, collected way, but it has to stop. It can't go on any longer. It just can't. So please step up and be parents to that boy and get him the mental health services that he so desperately needs. Thank you.
Saturday, 2:08 p.m. End of final message.
You got mental issues?
The irony,
They don't
again.
do nothing to you.
Hey, this coming from a narcissistic jackass, whom of which, by the way, and he, like I said, he mentioned something about harassment. So, okay, Tom, then why are you sending me junk like this in the mail? Which, by the way, that is his house address, his home address. He addressed it as Still Brave, but that is his mailing address.
Get the picture of him.
And I'll get to that. Let me put on my glasses here. Well, you know what? I'm going to take this hideous fucking hat off because I don't need it. But it is 5022 Harford Lane, Burke, Virginia, 22015. But I'm the one who's harassing.
Yeah.
It cost him $7, by the way, to send this package. It cost him $11 to send this. He sent me this great big canvas picture
Of him.
of himself. What the fuck? Why would I need it? It says, to my number one fan, Jer Bear, being the condescending dick that he is, may all your dreams come true in kindness. There's the hypocrisy. Tattoo Tom, and then they wrote, I love you in red ink.
Ah. Yeah.
So, to review all this, to put all this into perspective.
I got shit. I take any pictures.
Listen. He sends me all this shit. He's blowing up my house phone and my cell phone. He's sending, he's just, and he fosters and perpetuates that rumor that I allegedly asked a kid if chemo made their pubes fall out. But yet, I'm the one who needs the mental help. Well, thank you, Dr. fucking Spock, for your unlicensed diagnosis of me. If that's not the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what is. I'm going to tell you for the last time. And that's anybody listening to this. Well, first of all, the people who are listening to this, and I know this is going to get a lot of views. I know that this is going to get a lot of shares on Facebook. Fucking terrific. He is a lying, condescending piece of shit. And the fact that he's perpetuating and fostering rumors and lies, claims which have not met their burden of proof, that makes you just as much a fucking liar, Tom. Because you know what the ironic thing is that, as I pointed out, cancer and the treatment that we use to obliterate cancer, that's scientific. And do you know why they use the jargon of no evidence of disease? Because it's a scientific thing. Evidence is important. So tell me, if you're such a genius, if evidence matters when it comes to a kid's cancer diagnosis, then why doesn't it apply in any other aspect of life surrounding childhood cancer? Can you explain that one? I have not gotten a straight answer. Oh, because you don't have an explanation, right? That's what I figured. I'm the one who needs the mental help. But yeah, I'm the one who's looking at things from the rational, objective viewpoint.
So he's attacking mental health.
Okay, well, it's not even that. It's the fact that I'm actually looking at things honestly and truthfully, and you want to be someone who wants to be revered as a leader and someone that is, people look up to you and they're inspired by you, but this is the behavior that you're engaged in, and I want for the whole fucking world to see how much of a liar you are. Because if you foster a rumor about someone, you're just as much a liar. You're on the Jared Fuller smear campaign. You're on the hate Jared Fuller bandwagon. You had engaged in that, and you realized you fucked up when you put it on the Still Brave Childhood Cancer Foundation page, and the old guilty conscience is just like a machine that just constantly chums in your mind. And the only reason you were calling me incessantly for the past week, blowing up my house phone and my cell phone, is because of your guilty conscience. You realized you fucked up, dude. You fucked up royally. And the fact that you know that I know that you fucked up. So the next phone call, if you plan on calling me ever again, the next phone call better be a fucking apology. Saying, you know what, Jared, I fucked up. I made a mistake. That's not who I am. I'm sorry. Will you please accept my apology? The next phone call better be a fucking apology. Otherwise, you can kiss my ass. And you know what? You can go on putting on this dog and pony show and this wonderful facade that you continue to put on Facebook because, I preach kindness all day. Is this what kind people do? They leave messages about, Jared, I think that Jared is severely mentally ill. You know not a motherfucking thing about me, first of all. And second of all, who are you to tell anybody, you, a narcissist of all people, that irony is just incredibly thick. Who are you, of all people, a narcissist, to tell me or to tell my dad that I have severe mental issues? Well, no kidding. I have pointed out, have I not mentioned or pointed out in a Sunday video that I have depression, anxiety, PTSD. Have I not mentioned this before?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have.
Yeah.
Tom, you're dishonest. Tomboy.
You were bipolar and you had...
I have no problem telling people that I have mental issues, that I have a mental health problem. And there is a growing stigma surrounding mental health, and I think it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, because he's telling everybody...
And for you, that wasn't him. That was somebody else. For you to leave a message like that on my cell phone, which is a degrading, belittling message, and oh, it's gross because Jared says all these horrible things to get people mad. Well, you know what? If you're gonna shame, why don't you tell both sides of the fucking story, Tom? Why don't you also mention the part where you are fostering and perpetuating lies and gossip and rumors? Because I've got the screenshots, so there's evidence of that, and you can't escape that. You can't deny that. You are engaged in elementary school behavior. You can't deny it. I've got the screenshots. That's the evidence. Secondly, it just blows me away. An oncology parent, of all people, who would normally rely on evidence, because that's scientific when we're talking about medicine and biology, that's all scientific. And if you had even half a fucking brain, you would know that. So why is evidence discounted when we want to prove as to whether or not a claim is true about somebody else? Why would we toss that to the side? But when it comes to childhood cancer, oh yeah, we definitely need evidence for that. Well, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you and all your mindless jellyfish that follow you and they got their head so far up your ass. Let me cue you in on something. Let me give you a clue on something. Evidence always matters. Always. Not just in health, not just in science. Evidence matters everywhere. That's what makes up for the reality that we experience. We need evidence so we can tell what's true and what isn't. And you small-minded prick, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And the fact that you engage, you want to say that I'm harassing people? What the fuck do you call this? What the fuck do you call this? Sending me shit in the mail. What do you call that, Tom? Do you call that harassment? At what point?
Calling you on the phone.
And calling me on the phone daily. So tell me, at what point exactly does this disqualify as harassment? When does it not become harassment anymore? When you do it? Because you're God, right? See, that's the thing. People look up to you like you're some kind of God, and we can't be mad at Tom Mitchell about anything because then that would be like blasphemy. If you're God, then fuck off because you're a prick of a God, and you can fuck off. And, by the way, before I forget, there's something else. One of your buddies, Tom Mitchell, tell me if this name sounds familiar. His name is Derek Summers. Yeah, I got the screenshot right here in front of me. It says, support my brother, Tom Mitchell, in taking down this pedo. So, Derek Summers, if you're listening to this, you can go fuck yourself and Merry Christmas. There you go. And, furthermore, Tom, like I said, if you're going to call me, if you ever plan on calling me again, it's going to have to be the house phone because I got your number blocked on my cell phone. The next motherfucking call you make better be an apology, because if you're not going to apologize, then I am not interested in hearing from you ever again. And if you're that's it.
If you keep calling, we're going to get you for harassment.
Yeah, so and that's what I'm saying. When does it actually stop being harassment? When Tom Mitchell does it? And the only reason that I put all this out here is because all you people who want to sit behind a screen all day and think that Facebook is this wonderful, magical place where everybody is just so good, and this Tom Mitchell guy in particular is so amazing, that just demonstrates otherwise. He's just mad, and he wet his pants because I speak truth about what's going on in the childhood cancer world and elsewhere. It is a fucking, it's a joke. That's why I deviated from getting involved in anything childhood cancer related, because it's a fucking joke. When I was an advocate and I got involved, I worked for the people, not for the cause. Because the cause, you know what the cause is? The cause is like Tom Mitchell, the pomp and circumstance. Every good deed that I do just needs to be plastered all over Facebook. As a matter of fact, I saw just a few minutes ago before I hit the record button that he actually went to a 2-year-old's birthday party, I think it was. Yeah, his name is Kian, by the way. He's fighting cancer. So, Kian's parents, listen up, the family, if you can hear this. Tom Mitchell is a fucking liar. Don't let him bullshit you. Don't let him tell you anything. You think he's this great, marvelous, wonderful human being. You think he's a saint. I just demonstrated that he isn't. The fact that he would leave a message on my voicemail, the fact that he's sending me all this garbage in the mail, the fact that he's been blowing up my phones. Who's harassing who now, Tom? If you had even just a piece of a fucking brain cell, you would understand that what you're doing is no different than what people have been accusing me and shaming me of doing. So if I email somebody or send someone a letter to inquire, because I'm not like you, I don't just assume things. I'm not like your sheep. I'm not like the fucking flock of jellyfish that, you know, they got their heads up your ass constantly. I'm not like them. I actually inquire on what's truthful and objective, and I don't just go by hearsay. You have no moral foundation, Tom. You have none. You have stripped yourself of your pride, your dignity, and your integrity. You have none. Because you have engaged in bullshit, childish behavior. And all you people who are listening to this and you're supporters of Tom Mitchell and you stroke his ego and jerk him off or whatever it is you do, why don't you stop and actually listen to when people are telling you something? Because this is what's happening. Oh, Jared, he says all kinds of horrible things and it's gross. No, what's gross is the fact that you can't do a single fucking thing in your life without the pomp and circumstance and the fucking praise parades. That's what's gross. You don't care about the people. Oh, you can say you care about the people. You care just as long as you are making yourself look good at the end of it, right? Just as long as you come out on top looking like a fucking Georgia peach, then it's good. As long as you get what you can get from it. Doesn't matter about the people. Because you prey on that. You prey on the vulnerability and gullibility of people. They're feeble. They don't know where else to turn to. They don't know who to talk to. And if you're Kian's parents or family or whatever, by the way, I wish your little one a happy birthday. Sweet kid, you know. I'm also a childhood cancer survivor, so I know exactly what your little Kian is going through. But you need to know that Tom Mitchell is a pathetic liar. He is just a douche. And I don't care. Like I said, this video is going to get shared on Facebook. There's going to be all kinds of views. That's fucking perfectly fine with me. Because I want for the world to see what kind of douchebag this guy is. He is a fucking liar. And that's it. Listen. Tom, listen. If that were the case, okay, let's talk about that rumor for a minute, because I just want to point something out to you that your otherwise small brain wouldn't comprehend right away. So let me clue you in on a little something else too while we're here. The rumor is Jared asked my daughter or son, whatever it was. Jared, this is the claim, the rumor. Jared asked my kid if chemo made his pubic hair fall out. Or hers, whatever. And I was so disgusted that I had to get up and walk away. This was actually in the claim is that it was in a video chat. Is that so? Okay, so now what you need is evidence, audio recording, a screenshot where I'm actually speaking to a child and they're asking, or you can actually hear me ask them that question. You need all kinds of evidence for this. actual empirical evidence. We don't know the name of the kid in question. We don't even know the names of the parents in question. And instead of just getting up and walking away in disgust, don't you think if that were the case, the more viable thing to do would be to call the fucking police and have a police report against me, to have charges pressed, to have an investigation done? Because you know what that is? That's actually a felonious crime. It's called using a computer to commit a crime. And that's a felony in the state of Michigan. I don't know about Virginia or elsewhere, but in Michigan, that is a felony. Using a computer to commit a crime is, in fact, a felony. Why hasn't any of this happened, Tom? Do you have an explanation for that? Or are you just going to say, well, the parents were too scared? Bullshit. You still have a burden of proof. Seems you want to jump on this bandwagon in the smear campaign. You want to think that I'm this horrible person. You want to perpetuate and foster something that's not true, which by default makes you a fucking liar all on its own just because you did that. So now, where's the evidence? Where's the proof? Because if this does go to court, and you say you're working closely with the Michigan State Police, I don't believe that either. Because if you were, you wouldn't be sending me all this shit. And you wouldn't be calling me 20 times a day. Every fucking day for a week. So how many more lies are you going to spew? I want to know. I want to know. Because what you're doing is that you're building a bigger case for me. You're making yourself look like a fucking fool. So what's it going to be, Tom? Did I drink all my coffee? No, I didn't. So I got to ask, Tom, what's it going to be? If you call me, I would be interested in having a conversation with you, but we're not going to have a fighting match, and we're not going to talk over each other.
Civil conversation.
And we're going to get some shit straight. But first of all, you're going to start the phone call with an apology, and you will do it, otherwise there will be no conversation. And I've made myself abundantly clear, tomboy. So that's that. And to anyone else listening to this and you got your head up Tom Mitchell's ass, get a fucking clue. Your knight in shining armor is just a rusty old piece of shit. I just demonstrated to you in every angle the kind of person he is. So, you got anything to add to that, Dad?
No. I just wait for him to call, apologize.
This bullshit has gone on far too long, and for I'm just done.
It's a new year. Started out right.
I want 2021 to be a good year, and I don't want to end it like this. But people, it's how a narcissist works. They like to deflect. They like to say that it's everybody else's fault. And you know what? If we're going to talk about, okay, Jared said some pretty nasty things about some oncology families. Yes, I have, and I own it. Have you not listened to my daily rant recordings? I've said plenty. You know why? It's called revenge. It's called payback. Because anytime someone wants to use the word mentally fucking retarded as a pejorative to attack, that is a prejudice against people with special needs. Because if your mind goes to that as a way to belittle, that tells me that you think that all people with special needs are a detriment to society, and I think that's a crock of shit. And Tom didn't say this. This was a mom of a Wilms survivor. Her name is Kara from West Virginia. And I called her out in a daily rant recording, and she made a video. She actually made a video about me, I guess. She emailed me a link to a video that she made about me, talking about me. I don't care. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. You people are a joke. The childhood cancer world is a fucking joke. Because when I was an advocate, I worked for the people. I didn't work for the cause. I didn't do the things I did just to try to win a popularity contest, Tom. That's exactly what you're doing. You can't do a single thing in your life that doesn't involve a little bit of pomp and circumstance and a little bit of a praise parade for you. Mike Tyson's the same way. Ronnie Duvall's the same way. There's a lot of people who do this. Debbie Carver, Carrie Rickman, all these people. They think they need to be the center of attention. Every time they do something, they need praise. They need the pomp and circumstance. Are you really this insecure about yourself, Tom? And all the other people I mentioned? Are you really this insecure about yourself, Mike Gillette? Lots and lots of people are just so insecure about themselves that the last-ditch effort to make themselves famous or, celebrities is to use childhood cancer. And I think it's fucking sad to prey on someone's calamity and to try to make yourself look better at someone else's expense. That's, to me, it's just horseshit. I am so glad I deviated from all that. Wow. I'm so I'm so fed up that I'm coughing. I'm choking up over it. But enough is enough. Anything to add?
Yeah, I want to know what that Tom Mitchell thinks if he had children like that. Would he say the same thing?
Like what?
They're saying,
Dad, he didn't say that I was mentally retarded. I told you that. He didn't say it.
He's thinking everybody's got to kneel down to him?
That's what he thinks. He thinks everybody's got to genuflect and bow down to him. And that's where I say, fuck you. I don't genuflect or bow down to anybody. I have been through too much in my life as a survivor to know that what I'm doing is from my own personal experience, straight from the heart, straight from my own personal experience. That's why I got involved in raising awareness.
And a lot of us have to work for a living.
Well, he does. The thing is that listen, there again about that rumor. There's a lot, and something else that you also need to add to your list of things to think about, Tom, and it's not just the fact that, there's no evidence for it, but as someone who's had chemo and radiation, I've been through all the treatment, I've had all that shit done.
Yep.
Do you really think I need clarification on what chemo does to a person's body? Do you really think I would ask such a stupid question? Does chemo make your pubic hair fall? Do you really and truly think I would ask a question like that? Why would I need to inquire on what chemo does? I had chemo and I know what the fuck chemo does.
Yeah.
Do you really think I'm this confused that I don't know what chemo does? That I somehow underestimate the power of such an atrocious chemical that they put in my body? Do you think that I have a confusion about that? Do you think I'm just so utterly confused that I don't know what chemo is capable of doing? Get real. I don't talk to children that way, whether it be on or off the internet. I don't think that way. I don't. I've never spoken like that to a kid. I don't ask kids disgusting questions. And if you're fostering and perpetuating that claim or that rumor, you, just like the rest of these stupid fucks who perpetuate it, the burden of proof is on you to demonstrate that that is the case. And it never happened. Thank you. Where's your evidence? Oh, don't have it? Well, you got some explaining to do. You're engaged in a lie and a smear campaign. And yeah, because obviously and it's not something I would think about. Like, I wonder if chemo does this or has this effect or makes them lose hair in places where, you know what? I know what chemo does.
Yep. I know what chemo does.
I'm not an idiot. You people underestimate me because I have the nickname of Jer Bear, which, by the way, derives from my cancer battle, and I've been Jer Bear for the past, 30 fucking years.
Yep. Since you was in the hospital.
So make fun of it. Make fun of my nickname. That's great, because the name Jerry Bear is that's my nickname because of what I've been through. I've survived cancer. I survived COVID. I'll survive anything you throw at me, because I am a fucking survivor, and I'll survive this. I'll survive anything. So what else you got to throw at me, Tom? And all your little mindless, brainless jellyfish who just follow you without question. And they think you're so amazing without question. I mean, you people are just... You're an embarrassment. That's why nothing gets done. You people are just... You're an embarrassment. You're not helping these kids. You're not doing shit for these kids. You're doing this for yourself.
We have free money. Free this, free that.
You're thinking of Milt Tyson. You're thinking of Ronnie Duvall.
I'm thinking of all those guys, all those people.
You're thinking of the pieces of shit that when you know, it's almost like, you know what it feels like in a way? And I'll be honest with you, Dad. You know what it feels like? Every time I deal with an asshole like this, you know what it feels like? It's almost like saying that these people are taking me and my life for granted. And they're taking my cancer battle for granted.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter. Well, it does matter. And you know what? Your children mattered to me. That's why I got involved. Because I thought I could help make a difference. But not for the cause, for the people. See, there's a difference. And I outlined that in my recent Daily Rant recording. You guys are just pathetic, man. You're out there. You're really fucking out there, but yeah, I'm the one who needs the mental help. When I have honestly inquired truth, if I'm asking for evidence, or if I'm asking you why you would believe something lacking evidence, that's not me harassing you. That's me inquiring and trying to get truth. I'm trying to get to the bottom of something. You know, like when your kid was diagnosed with cancer, they inquired. They didn't assume. Maybe inquiring is something that you should try. It's not hard. I mean, if you're just going to jump on the bandwagon and assume something without actually being able to demonstrate that it's true, that makes you just as much a fucking liar as the next person. And that's what you are, Tom. You are a motherfucking liar. And again, Kian, this is for his parents if they're listening. You got a narcissistic lying jackass on your hands, and I'd be very careful having him around your kid. And that goes for anybody else who's listening to this too. Because you know what? I'm bankrupt on fucks to give. And that's it. I'm done talking about it. So, moving on. I know I realize I took up about, a better chunk of the video talking about this stupid shit going on, which seems never ending, but so it is a Christmas season, and I did visit the Carland Elevator this past week, and the reason I did is because there is history with the Carland Elevator. I don't know the entirety of the history. I know that building's got to be at least 100 years old or more. But there's something about that particular location. Like, the building is old, and I know that the 1225, the Pierre Marquette, or the Polar Express as we call it here in Michigan, it's at, the Pierre Marquette 1225 is a steam locomotive, and it's in Owasso at the Mid-Michigan Steam Railroad Institute. It comes up by the Carland Elevator, and it's almost like when, like if you Google Carland Elevator, you see pictures of the steam locomotive coming up next to the building. Now, the steam locomotive itself was built in 1941. It was built as part of the war effort during the days of Pearl Harbor, which was, I think it was built in October 41 and Pearl Harbor was December 41. So it was part of the war effort, okay? And so when you see a picture of the 1225 coming up next to the building, the Carland Elevator, and you see the plumes of black smoke billowing up because it runs on coal. It's almost like a scene out of an ancient children's storybook, you know? And when I think about it, it's like, you know, this is just right down the road from where I used to live, when the house I lived in when I was diagnosed with cancer, when I lived on Chapin Road. It was just right down the road from me. Hoover's Corners Bar, right down the road from me. Carlin Elevator, right down the road from me. And there's just so much history. I just think it's cool. And to know that the 1225, the original, you know, like the cartoon movie Polar Express from 2004, it's got the bosom buddies in it, Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari. That train, that the 1225 was used in the movie. The sound effects, you know, like the ding, the ding and bell, and the chugga 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 sound, and the just the replica, you know, like not to say the replica, but the actual locomotive. All the sounds that you hear from the train, the whistle and everything that you hear, was used in the movie The Polar Express. So that, I mean, there's Michigan ties. We had our hands in this movie, and I think it's great. I mean, a Hollywood crew had come out and recorded the sound effects for the movie. And I just think it's great. You know, when I was quarantined with the COVID, I did a lot of reading, like Google searches and looking up information about the state of Michigan, how some of these places got their names, and you know, it's just fascinating stuff. And Michigan is known for a lot of stuff. I was actually thinking about putting together a video of Michigan-made products like Faygo Cola, Jiffy Mix, Verner's Ginger Ale, Kellogg's cereal, just different things that we make here in Michigan. I was actually going to compile a video and put, you know, just to show everybody what Michigan's known for. I haven't even got started yet, but I plan to do something in regards to that. I want to just to show people what we're known for. And General Motors, can't forget General Motors. But there's so much history about my state, and there's a lot of connections. There's a lot of ties. Like Michigan has, you know, we're known for lots of things, and we're connected with lots of things that are known worldwide. That people, you know, it's a worldwide thing, but a lot of it rests in the state, in Michigan. So, to me, it's fascinating. I love reading up on the history of Michigan. And a lot of people ask me, like, you know, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, why wasn't that the Upper Peninsula of Wisconsin? Because the piece of Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, is actually attached to the same piece of land that is Wisconsin. And the reason for that, and I might be getting this wrong, but by how I understood it, so back many, you know, centuries ago, Michigan and Ohio were fighting over custody, quote unquote, custody of the city of Toledo. Okay, they couldn't come to an agreement. Should Toledo be in Michigan or should Toledo be in Ohio? So what happened was the United States government stepped in and said, look, and they told Michigan, look, if we give Toledo to Ohio, we will give you that extra piece of land. And that's what happened. So that was like, you know, recompense for losing Toledo to Ohio. We lost custody of Toledo to Ohio. But we did gain an extra piece of land, which is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So that's the history, and I hope I'm getting that right, but if I'm not, I encourage you to Google it and educate yourself a little better on that. But that's how I understood it anyway. There is a little bit of a history, just like Detroit was, in fact, our very first capital, but then they moved it back to Lansing in 1847 because of the fact that when British troops were stationed in Windsor, Ontario, which is just across, you know, the river, it was too close to our government, our state government, so they moved it back. that's one of the reasons, and something to do with improving the west side of the state. They wanted to improve the west side of Michigan. Grand Rapids, Traverse City, Kalamazoo, Holland, and Grand Haven, and Muskegon, all those places to the west. They wanted to improve. So, there's a lot of history, and I actually enjoy reading up on the history of Michigan because, like I said, we're known for so many different things. Like, for example, can't forget Motown music. Love Motown music. I'm a big fan of Motown music. And hopefully when this pandemic is over, I'm going to go visit the Motown Museum. And we were just talking, speaking of the 1225, I'm kind of glad I brought that up. Dad and I were talking about this. Was it yesterday or the day before? That when the COVID passes, when the COVID goes away, we actually want to go on the Polar Express.
Yep.
From Owasso to Ashley. I think it'd be cool. I think the tickets are like $50. But hey, it'd be worth $50, I've never been I haven't been on a train in years since I was a kid. I went to Crossroads Village in out by Flint, Huckleberry Railroad, and Dad was with me because it was on a school field trip. And we rode a train through Flint. I remember that. We rode a train through Flint. I don't remember where we ended up, but I know we started out at Huckleberry Railroad, Crossroads Village, which is in near Mount Morris, and we cut right through Flint on a train. And it was different. It was really different because I remember there were people like standing off like into a grassy area where trees around, and they were reenacting a scene, and you could watch it out the window of the train. And it was just really cool. It was really neat to see. Now, I don't know exactly what goes on with the Polar Express. I think it's just the train ride from Owasso to Ashley being pulled by the steam locomotive, and you go through Carland, you go through Elsie, you go through Bannister, you go and eventually you come up to Ashley. Oh, there's your phone, just in time.
Hello.
Just in time. But that's the length of the Polar Express. It goes from Owasso to Ashley, and sometimes it even comes up to Chesaning, to the Saginaw County Fairgrounds. That's where Santa's Village is. But they're not having it this year again because of the COVID. So that's just one more event that has been killed in 2020 because of the COVID. I heard, I don't know, I watched the news on and off, mainly just to get the weather, just to find out if it's going to be cold or whatever, if we got any incoming storms or anything like that so we can prepare. I heard we're starting to see a flattening of the curve in Michigan. Because people are doing what they're supposed to do by wearing the mask, social distancing 6 feet, washing your hands and things like that. People are following the protocols, and they're seeing the number of cases and death decrease, which is a good thing. We need for that. I don't know who's on the phone with Dad, but we're seeing a decrease in the number of cases, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing. We need to continue on that trend of decreasing the number of cases, decreasing the number of death. We need to just flatten it completely, obliterate it, destroy it. So, and I think that was it yesterday or the day before, Governor Gretchen Whitmer had a press briefing, and it was emotional for her, and I can understand that because I think it was a Wayne County sheriff. He died as a result of the COVID, and he was really good friends with Governor Whitmer, and she got emotional. She started to cry when she was given the press briefing. So, she was human in that moment. She was just human in the moment. And, I got to say, I don't blame her for being upset. Because listen, the world is crazy right now with this COVID shit. And when you're in a position of power, governor, president, mayor, whatever the case may be, when you are in a position of power, you have a lot on your plate when it comes to pandemics and things. You're never going to please 100% of the people 100% of the time. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it doesn't matter if what you think you're doing is a good thing, because someone's going to be out there to say that it's a bad thing, and vice versa. Oh, that's a bad thing. No, this is actually a good thing. You're never going to get everybody on the same wavelength at all times. You're just not going to do that. And Governor Gretchen Whitmer, although there's a lot of things she's done that I don't necessarily agree with, but she has a lot on her plate. I mean, to be in a position of gubernatorial power, over a state, imagine being the president where you're in charge of the entire fucking country. That's a lot to have to take in. That's a big responsibility, because you never leave your job. I'm sorry, you never leave your job. Your job is in your head all the time, where you have an obligation, you have a responsibility to govern. You have a responsibility to govern the state, to govern the country. That job is always in your head all the time. So she's under a lot of stress. She's under a lot of pressure. And you can say the same thing about Trump. I mean, I'm sure he was under a lot of pressure, and he couldn't never leave his job. Being a president or a leader is big business. It's serious, because you have to have that on your consciousness all the time. I couldn't do it. It's not a job that I would want. It's not a position that I would want to be in. Because it would just be so much to have to take. And Dad's on the phone. I don't know who he's speaking with. I don't know who he's talking to, but it's kind of distracting me from what I'm trying to say, listening to him talk, but that's fine. Bottom line is, despite the fact of how much of a jerk I sound, in my daily rants, or how much of a prick I can be in my Sunday video updates, the fact of the matter is that I just want everybody to be happy. I want what's best for everybody. And I tried to be that person who helped people and, implemented love and shown like a brotherly love kind of a thing. I still have a handful of friends, and obviously, like I said, and even in the daily rant recording, obviously I'm not speaking about the entire childhood cancer demographic, because if that were the case, I still wouldn't be speaking to particular friends from the childhood cancer demographic. So clearly I'm not speaking about them or the entirety, but to the specific few who are using this to their advantage. They are trying to... they're getting books published, and Tom Mitchell, I had my name published in a little girl's book. Well, big fucking deal. I've had my name published in the local newspaper for a poem I had written. I don't think I'm a big shot. I don't think I'm better than anybody. And you know what? Everybody read the poem. Everybody read my piece of work, my literature. Everybody. The Owasso, Chesaning, Oakley, Ovid, everywhere where that particular paper is sold or delivered, they read my poem. Everybody read my poem. Everybody saw my poem. They read my piece of work. And it was a poem regarding the Sandy Hook tragedy back in, I think it was 2012. So I have had my name published in a newspaper. But the wonderful thing about that, even though I know that my poem is read by a good chunk of my particular geographic, area, I don't think I'm a big shot by any stretch. And even then I didn't think I was Mr. Popularity. I didn't think that at all. And I still don't. Because it was a poem I had written that made the paper, which was cool, because for me it was cool because I never had anything published in a paper where I know everybody's going to see it. That was like the coolest thing ever. And the reason why it made the paper is because the poetry, the subject matter of the poem, was in relevance to the news story of the Sandy Hook tragedy, and that's what that poem was about. And, things have changed since then. But you don't ever really hear me talk about my poem making the paper, because it's just, it was a poem that just made a paper. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I did get phone calls, and my Uncle Keith, he called me up and he says, "Man, I loved your poem. I kept it in my Bible," and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's great, Uncle Keith, and he was really proud of me, and he loved my poem. And a lot of people, I've written lots of poetry over the years, lots of poetry. I've had so many years experience at writing, writing journals, poetry, even made up stories. I was writing made up stories when I was a kid, and there's a lot of grammatical errors, a lot of, I'm not using the right word in the right context. I'm not using the proper pronunciation or what do you call the proper, the quotation marks and all that shit. There were a lot of grammatical errors, but see, that was part of my evolutionary process and becoming someone who just likes to write poetry as a hobby. And I write a journal. I've been keeping journals now for 21 years. And, I have my hand in writing. It's just something I love to do. And, it's who I am. As a childhood cancer survivor, I can write poems for other kids, which I've done. I can write poems for myself, which I've done. I can write out long journal entries, I'm just someone who likes to write. I'm a writer. It's what I do. I don't get paid for it. I'm not making money on it, but that's okay because I'm still a writer, regardless. But that's just me, and in fact, I have inspired other people to write poetry, to dabble with poetry, or to pick up a pen and keep a journal. I have inspired lots of people to do that. I inspired Dad to keep a journal for a short time. Remember that? Mm-hmm. You were writing a journal for a little while. My mom had written poetry, and she had kept a journal. I got Amy into journaling, I think. I don't know. I don't want to take too much credit because she might have been journaling long before I ever started, which was in 1999, by the way. Even my friends in New York, she tried her hand at a poem. And it's like, this is cool. I've inspired people to pick up a pen and jot down some ideas for poems and keeping journals. And I encourage that all the time. I encourage everybody to write down your thoughts. Get creative. Write poetry. Come up with an unpublished book. Come up with something. Because it's like an anti-drug. It keeps you out of trouble. Although some of the things you write could get you in trouble. But because the saying is, say it, forget it, write it, regret it. And there's a lot of things I've written that I still to this day I regret writing it because that's not where my mind should have been at the time. But now that I'm older and I've matured and my writing style has matured and I've sharpened up on my vocabulary and I'm very eloquent, now it's a whole different ball of wax. Like I look back at my old journals and it's like, wow, I was 17 and stupid and I actually thought this way. But I'm happy to say that I've made lots of changes. I've made lots of changes in my viewpoints, my perspectives on things, and I've even discussed some of those differing, how I've changed my ways in thinking. I've discussed some of those thoughts here, i.e. abortion and a whole bunch of other topics. I've discussed that. But I'm just being myself at the end of the day. That's really and truly what I'm doing. I love to write journals. I love to write poetry. I express my love because the thing is, and I know people kind of get creeped out by that, well, Jared expresses his love, and he says, it makes me feel uncomfortable because he tells me he loves me. Well, first of all, the only reason I do that is because the world is full of so much hatred, fueled by social media, fueled by, the media in general. There's so much of that going on because you have people who just can't think for themselves. So when I say I love you, I profess my true feelings to someone by saying I love you as a friend, I love you as a brother, as I love you as a sister kind of a thing. If I don't say it now, I may never say it. In other words, tomorrow isn't promised. And if I don't wake up tomorrow, which most of you might look forward to me not waking up tomorrow, that's part of your ignorance, but if I don't say it now, I may never get to say it. And that's why I tell my friends all the time, I love you, and I'm your family, I'm your friend, I'm here for you. And having gone through the things I've been through in my life, childhood cancer, homelessness, sexual abuse, my parents divorcing, going through all that, I cannot say enough how much I love my friends, my family. And if that makes you squirm or makes you feel uncomfortable, I'm sorry. That's your problem, but that's just the kind of person I am. Because I've been through so much of my life. So much. And I'm here today sticking up for myself and calling out the bullshit. People who are dishonest and disingenuous, or disingenuous, I should say. Disingenuous isn't a word. They are disingenuous, and they pretend to care, so as long as they can make themselves look good. I call it out. Because when I said in 2013 I'm an advocate for childhood cancer, hey, guess what? That's what I fucking meant. That's exactly what I meant, and I stuck to it. And a lot of people weren't too happy about it, but I really don't care, I don't care. I am bankrupt on fucks to give, and, I just don't care anymore. But, however, what I do care about, I still care about people. My actions can affect other people's lives. My actions have consequences. Their actions can affect me, and their actions can also have consequences. But that's what I have to live by. We all do. We all have to live by that. That is part of that's part of the moral contract, the societal contract, that if we violate that, there's consequences. I've said lots of, Tom Mitchell had said in that voice message that I hope you heard, that, this has been going on for years. Okay, Tom, but what about the things that people have said to me? Because I never randomly and viciously attack someone verbally if they're not provoking me to do it. Damn. Clear my throat. But I don't just do that at random. You provoked this conversation today at the beginning of this video. You provoked it. And you're not going to try to pin this on me. See, I told you Jared Fuller. Shut the fuck up. You provoked this. And it's just like what happened at the Sparrow Foundation. They provoke anger in people, and then when they do get angry, they want to pin it on the person they pissed off. See, I told you he was dangerous. I told you he was a threat. That is chicken shit. That is a chicken shit thing to do. And that's it. When someone's trying to have a rational, civil conversation. The problem with this generation in 2020 is that people have thrown civility out the fucking window. That's a thing of the past. That is a thing of the past. No one believes in being civil anymore. No one believes in having rational, civilized, logical conversations. No one understands that there are proper applications of logic that you have to apply in order to get to the root of a problem. And when people in general are believing things without evidence, without proof, without any way of demonstrating that this is the case, so we just assume without actually knowing the truth, which is fucking, not only is it stupid, but it's dangerous. And that is the kind of shit that Tom Mitchell is engaged in. It's the kind of shit that most all of his sheep are engaged in. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And people love to pontificate about, what they do, and they like to rewrite history, and they like to say that they're responsible for this and they're responsible for that, when in fact that's just simply not the case. That's just not it. But it's really disheartening when you have people who are they're just dishonest, and they don't honestly inquire about what's really and truly happening, what's really and truly going on. Yeah, you've heard something about me, so can you ask me the question instead of assuming? This passive aggressive shit that, oh, well, see, he got thrown out of here, thrown out of there. Well, I'll tell you what. I was only banned from like one hospital, just one, not hospitals, plural. No, just one. And if you're interested at all in knowing the truth of why I was banned from one hospital, then just email me. My email address is in the About tab section of this channel. Just email me. That's all you got to do. Just say, well, I'm just kind of curious, why were you banned from the hospital? And I'll explain to you. I'll explain. Dad knows why I was banned from the hospital.
For stupid shit.
Yeah, and people want to automatically assume the worst when they hear something about, oh, Jared was banned from a hospital. A hospital, just one. And that's another way people like to assume things without actually knowing the truth. So if you have any questions about that, email me and we'll have the discussion. But I can tell you that it's not, people try to, they spin it. They try to make it sound worse than what it actually is, but it's really not a big deal. And if you ask me about it, I will explain to you what happened. But you can't just assume without actually knowing the truth. And that's happening all the time. Especially with, Kara from West Virginia and her mother. That they just assume without actually knowing the truth. So, yeah. That's the truth of that. But I have been here for a very long time. I don't know how long I've been here exactly. It's actually 2 o'clock, right on the dot. And this is going to take all day to upload. And, that's the only downfall about uploading videos to Facebook, is that it takes all fucking day to upload. By the time this uploads to my channel, you're not going to see this until Monday, Tuesday. You're not going to see this on the Sunday in which this video is recorded. You're not going to see it until days after, and I do apologize for that. That's on YouTube's end. That's not on my end. So what I'm thinking about doing, and I've been giving this a lot of thought, and you know what I would like to do? I would like to actually do a live stream, to start doing the Sunday videos live instead of, recording and then editing and then uploading, because like I said, it's just time consuming and it takes all day for the video to upload. So I want to do a live Sunday video update and and go from there. Now the only difference is that there's not going to be words appearing on the screen. There's not going to be a fade in or a fade out, but I'm guessing that if I do a live video on my YouTube channel, I can just, hit the record button, do the video, ad-lib everything, and after that, when I'm done, just hit the stop button. And it'll just be there. It'll be ready for everybody. And by the way, this is the proper way that you're looking at, the screen, that this is, this is actually to my right, and the door is actually behind me, the front door, and Dad actually is sitting to the southwest of me. You can see him waving. This is the correct way that you're looking at my part of my living room from the vantage point of where my computer is situated and the webcam where it's situated. This is the true way. Now, when I do the live video, when I start live streaming, the image might be flipped. You know, like this is going to appear over here. So it's going to be a different way of looking at things. But I'll give it a try. I'll start doing that probably in January. The first Sunday video update, I'll probably start doing that in January, and we'll see how it goes. And by the way, there will be no live chat. I'm going to disable the live chat so the trolls can't come in there and degrade me and say all kinds of horrific shit. And, you know, it's just not going to happen. I'm not going to put up with that. That's why I disabled the comments, because people can't behave themselves and just, you know, do what it is they have to do or say what they have to say. If they have a question, honestly, they can ask me. But if they're going to be condescending, you know, they're done. So instead of, you know, picking through all that, nitpicking through who's good and who isn't, who's a troll and who's legit, I just disable the comments altogether. It's just easier to deal with. I don't have to go through that trouble. And I really don't, you know, I really don't care what anybody has to say, but it's just the fact that it's less work for me to have to actually go through and try to figure out who's legit and who's not. But it is the Christmas season. Christmas is this coming Friday. We're having a hard time. This was a discussion that Dad and I, prior to recording this, we had this discussion. Christmas is not everybody's best time of the year. And if you are someone who's jovial around the Christmas holiday, you got this cheery disposition for the holiday, that's great. No one's telling you that you can't be happy-go-lucky at Christmas time. No one's telling you that you can't share in the collective excitement of Christmas. We're not telling you that you can't. You have every right to celebrate whatever you want. You can be happy about whatever you want. But those of us who actually don't feel the same way you do, we just ask that you respect our feelings as well. You take our feelings into consideration. The reason why...
Not everybody can spend Christmas with family.
Yeah, not everybody can spend Christmas with their family, and this is, you know, something that Dad and I discussed.
Grandkids.
My dad does not get to see his grandkids. He's lucky to get to see his grandkids on occasion through Duo, which is video chatting, because they live in Florida. My nieces and nephews, they live in Florida.
That's the only ones I do.
And it's very rare occasions. It's few and far between. And that's understood. They live in Florida. Mm-hmm. So I can understand that totally.
Yeah.
I get that 100%. However, I have other nieces. There's other grandkids that my dad does not get to see because of the fact, and I'm gonna state the facts. The moms, and moms plural, yes, the moms of these kids are they are against my brother, and that's all I'm gonna say. They are against my brother, and somehow it has this profound effect. It affects us because we don't get to see the grandkids. They take it out on us when we had nothing to do with any situation that was going on. It happened between you and my brother. You leave me out of it. You don't take it out on me. You don't take it out on my parents. They had nothing to do with that. But my parents are the ones, and myself included, we're being punished for something we had nothing to do with. We don't get to see the grandkids. We don't hear from them, my nieces and nephews. I would want nothing more than for the family to be together at Christmas.
One Christmas, all I ask for.
You know, it's the reason why we don't decorate the house. We don't put up Christmas lights. We don't put up a tree. We don't celebrate Christmas. We have no reason to celebrate Christmas. There is just no legitimate reason to celebrate it, not for us.
Why, so we can sit and look at it and think, well, I got to take them down tomorrow.
Yeah, and oh, gee, it would be, and to think, you stare at the tree and you think, gee, it would be nice if my grandkids could see this. And that hurts. My family, because there's so much We're divided. We're split up.
Like with Timmy, Danny, Cheryl, they get to see their grandkids.
Yeah, my Uncle Tim, I'm not saying anything mean, and neither is Dad. We're not saying anything mean. But Uncle Tim, Uncle Danny, and Aunt Cheryl, you guys get to see your grandkids whenever you want.
I don't.
All year round.
I don't.
My dad does not get to see his grandkids, and that hurts. And especially more during the holiday season. Because the mothers of these kids are just, they're mad at my brother, which is their dad, but they're taking it out on us, and we had nothing to do with whatever happened.
I wish your grandparents were right.
Oh, I wish they were grandparents' rights.
Take them to court to see my grandchildren.
So for me, I'm past the point of rescue as far as, Christmas being this happy-go-lucky holiday. I don't care. I really and truly don't give a fuck either way. It's just another day, another year.
We used to have one granddaughter that told me Happy New Year's.
Yeah.
That's Angel.
Yeah, Angel, yeah. Hi, Angel. We love you. Merry Christmas. Give those babies our love. Give Skylin and Christopher our love. And,
Got my big hug for me.
yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, it's because we don't get to see the kids. And it's because they're mad at my brother.
I'd love to see my grandchildren.
I would love to see Callie and Finn.
I would buy something for them all for Christmas, but why?
Yeah.
I never get to see them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if my niece Corey listens to my videos, but I'm just going to say one thing about I love my nieces and nephews. Make no mistake about that. Please make no mistake about it. I love my nieces and nephews with every fiber in my being. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them. I'd take a bullet for them. But listen, you made an adult decision to bring children into the world. Granted, yeah, your parents may have helped raise those kids, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they're your children, and it's your decision. It's not the decision of the grandparents. Well, I don't want you letting these people around my grandkids, and I don't want you taking them to see these people, this, that, and the other. Hey, Grandma, Grandpa, it's not your fucking decision. It is up to the parents on what they choose to do with their children. Corey, if you want to bring your kids to our house so we can actually meet your kids, so we can see the babies, that would be great. Or if you prefer, we could meet somewhere else. We can meet somewhere in Owasso or wherever it is you're living at now. We can actually meet somewhere. And, you don't need to be chaperoned by your mother. That's just the way it is. You are an adult. You don't need mommy holding your hand. You made an adult decision to have kids.
And I'm sure Jay would want to see his grandchildren.
Yeah, but I don't know the dynamics between Jay and Corey, so I can't speak on that. But what I can speak on is the fact that you brought these kids into the world. That was your decision, honey. That was your decision. Uncle Jared's just trying to tell you how I feel for once. I'm tired of keeping this shit bottled up, and so is Grandpa. We're tired of keeping this quiet because we don't want to upset anybody. You know what? Nobody seems to care when we're upset about stuff. Why are we being punished for shit we had nothing to do with? That's what I want to know. Oh, because you talked to Jay. Yes, he's my fucking brother. Of course I talked to Jay.
Son, why wouldn't I talk to my kids?
He's my brother.
My boys.
So what is that, guilt by association or guilt by DNA because he's my brother and I socialize with someone who shares the same mom and dad as I do? Like, seriously, that's I don't get it. I don't understand. Well, if you have anything to do with him, you can't see your. That's horseshit.
That's exactly what.
And it's childish.
Brandy did with.
Oh, we won't. Yeah, Brandy. Yeah. That's my niece Ariana's mother. Her name is Brandy. She did some pretty trashy shit in her day. She's another. She hates the whole family. She hates me. She hates Jay. She hates my brother Wayne. She hates my mom and dad. She said all kinds of horrible, deplorable, disgusting shit about my family. which is why we don't see Ariana anymore. She's really mad at Jay, but she takes it out on the rest of the family. But I know things about her that she probably doesn't think that I know.
Ariana, if you're out there, I love you, honey.
Yep.
Only Grandpa don't.
I don't know if my nieces and nephews watch my videos, but Anna, if you can see and hear Uncle Jared's voice and Grandpa's voice, we love you. We miss you. We wish you a Merry Christmas, but your mom has filled your head with a bunch of bullshit.
JJ, we wish you a
Yep,
Merry Christmas.
and JJ as well. We love you. We miss you. We hope you're doing well.
I'd like to see him again.
But I'm going to tell you straight, Brandy, mentally and physically, she abused her children. Brainwashed them, but she also physically abused them. And I don't care who this gets out to. I really don't fucking care. She is an abusive, trash, piece of shit bitch of a human being. She was selling herself on Craigslist.
That's enough.
To pay her rent. Yeah, it's not enough until I think it's enough. She was selling herself on Craigslist to pay her bills. That's how much of a disgusting piece of shit that she is. Now it's enough. But anyway, I love my nieces and nephews with everything I have. I miss my family. I miss seeing my nieces and nephews. There's nieces and nephews I haven't even met yet. I got to meet Skylin. I got to hold her, when she was a baby. But now she's this little squirking human. She's this little person. Now she's walking and she's got her mom's attitude. Angel, I'm sorry, honey, but she's got the Fuller attitude. She gets it from Mama. We love you. We love you, Angel. And she's got that attitude.
You better watch your ass.
And yeah, you better watch. I haven't got to meet Christopher. I've only ever seen him through video chatting, like I said, because they live in Florida, and with the COVID situation, and it's just I'm not talking about the dad, Chris. I said my nephew, Chris. Yeah. Their baby, their son, your grandson. My nephew, my great nephew. Holy shit. Yeah, my great nephew. Holy shit. My brother is a grandpa. I can't get over that. Like my brother is a grandfather, and he's only 40 years old. I mean, I don't know. Well, you and Mom started out young, having kids, but you were also very young when you became grandparents. So yeah, I mean, I don't mean to. I'm not trying to pick a fight. I'm not trying to get arguments started. But the fact of the matter is, Christmas is a depressing time of year for us because we don't get to see the family. We don't get to see the kids, and that hurts. You can be mad at my, no offense, Jay. They can be mad at you, but to take it out on us, the people who had nothing to do with it directly, that's pretty shitty. Don't keep the kids from us because of a decision that someone else made. If you don't, Jay, and I'm being serious, I know you're going to hear this, I know you're going to see this. In fairness, if they're mad at you, they shouldn't take it out on us. And I'm saying that with the utmost respect. Yeah. They should not be taking it out on us if they have a problem with you.
Just like Bella.
Well, Bella's the kid, just like Ashley, the mother.
See her again.
It's a difficult time of the year for us. It's a very difficult time because we don't get to see the kids. And
Tim with his grandkids.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle Tim and Uncle Danny and Aunt Cheryl, you guys are lucky. You get to see your grandchildren any fucking time you want. Anytime you want. Anytime. You should consider yourselves very lucky to get to see your grandchildren whenever you want. Not just at Christmas or birthdays or Thanksgiving or whatever, but any fucking time you want, you get to see your grandchildren. I don't know about now because of the COVID, but most assuredly, year-round, you get to see your grandkids. We don't get to see My dad does not get to see his grandchildren. The only time he ever gets to see or talk to his grandchildren is through video chatting, which is called Duo.
And that's only Angel and the kids.
And that's Angel and Jill, which is Angel's mom. Hi, Jill. It's really and truly the only time we ever get to see the kids is when they video chat. They'll video chat.
Or if they come back to Michigan.
Or if they come back to Michigan from Florida, yeah.
That's cool.
But I can understand their situation, and I do understand your situation. And I'm not trying to say anything bad. I'm not trying to pick fights or get any arguments started. But this is a very difficult time. I don't give a fuck about Christmas because, like I said, my Christmas spirit died years ago. I think it was around the time when Mom and Dad divorced in 2002. That's when I said fuck Christmas. I was 16 years old. I just said fuck Christmas. I have no feeling for it anymore. I was a Christian at the time, but I still said fuck Christmas. Now I'm an atheist, and I can really say with a great amount of confidence, fuck Christmas, even more. So, is there anything you wanted to add? Mm-hmm. I have an empty cup of coffee here. Nothing in it. It's empty. I drank it right down my lucky Sparty cup. But that's where we're at, That's where we're at, and it's difficult. It's hard. It's hard on my parents. It's hard for my mom and dad. Yeah, even a phone call would be great, And Corey, I don't know if Corey watches my videos or listens to my videos, but Uncle Jared loves you, Grandpa loves you, Grandma Moan loves you. We all love you. We would like to see the kids sometimes, even if we have to. If you don't feel comfortable bringing the kids here for whatever the reason may be, we can arrange a time or a place to meet somewhere else if you prefer.
I wish you didn't be one putting that little jar.
Just please don't. We want to have that bond, that communication. Please don't keep the kids from us, please. I know you're mad at my brother, and you have every right to be if that's how you feel. But please don't take it out on us. That goes for anybody. Don't take it out on us for the things that someone else did. We had nothing to do with that. And that's all I got to say about that. From an uncle's point of view, and I'm a proud uncle. I love my nieces and nephews dearly. I've done a lot for my nieces and nephews, actually. Well, not my nephews so much, because I haven't met my nephews yet, not physically. But I've done everything I could. I've done as much as that's just the kind of person I am. I try to help as many people as I can. And it sucks that it just sucks that we're having a hard time. Dad got up and walked away. I think he's crying. He's upset, which I can't. I don't blame him. My mom is hurt. My mom cries every time I talk to her on the phone. She cries to me on the phone. She says, I would love to have that close bond with my grandchildren and my great grandchildren. And she says, I don't even have that because they're mad at one person. And the rest of us just have to, we fall behind. We fall in line, and we have to suffer the consequences for shit that we had nothing to do with. And that's the truth. That's just the flat-out truth. I wish we could all get along, and I wish the families would come together more, and I wish we could reach some kind of a mutual understanding, or at least come meet each other halfway, come to an agreement and say, you know what? Why don't we do away with all the stipulations? Why don't we just say, you know what? You want to see the kids? Meet me here, or let's pick a day. I'll come out. We'll keep it a secret. Nobody's going to know. No one's going to have a fucking clue that you even showed up here because we're not going to tell anybody. But at least we're trying to make an effort. We would love to see the grandkids. We would love to see the children. We would love to see them. And I know Dad's, I don't know, he's upset. He's really and truly upset, and so am I, to tell you the truth. I'm very upset because I didn't do anything to deserve this. For my nieces to keep my nieces and nephews, I didn't do anything wrong. I had nothing to do with any of that. But because of the fact that I talked to Jay, which shouldn't matter if I talk to my brother. What does that have to do with you? What does that have to do with you in talking to me? What does that have to do with anything? It just doesn't. And I, for one, quite frankly, am sick and tired of jumping through hoops and going by all these stipulations and conditions. Well, you can see me, but only on these specific conditions. No, we're family. That's not the way it should be. Especially if I'm not the one that you're mad at. Why is it that you're punishing me for something that I didn't do? How is that fair? It's not. And it's not fair to my dad. But anyway, enough on that. Because the more I talk about it, the more upset I get. And I wish things were different. I really and truly wish things were different. They're mad at my brother, but they're taking it out on me and my dad and my mom and even my brother Wayne, my oldest brother Wayne. I don't know. I just don't get it. I really and truly don't understand. I love my family, absolutely. Make no mistake, I love my family with all my heart. But the fighting and the division and the stipulations, that's got to end. That's got to go away. It's just got to stop. Because we're not getting any younger. Life is too short. And, again, that's why I always tell my family and friends that I love them. I have to tell them now because I might not get to tomorrow. I can't predict the future. I can't prognosticate what's going to happen because I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know what's going to happen. But I hope that we get to, repair whatever's broken in the family. I hope that there's some way of fixing it or repairing it somehow, and we can work out agreements. We can work out some way to where I want to be in the kids' lives. Absolutely. Now I get to talk. Like I said, I talk to Angel when she video chats with Amy. She'll talk to me. She'll talk to my dad. Now, the last time I talked to Skylin, my great niece, she was trying to push Uncle Jared's nose. Like, she kept putting her finger in the screen thinking she was going to, and just jokingly when she would do it, I go, "Oh, you got Uncle Jared's nose." Just to be funny, because it's the kind of guy I am. And so that was cute. That was cute. But, so I do get to speak to Skylin and my niece Angel on occasion, a rare occasion. And I talked to her mom, Jill, my ex-sister-in-law. I still call her sis, because she was married to my brother for that short period of time. And, I ask her how the kids are doing. She says they're doing good, and, which is great. I love just knowing that my nieces and nephews are doing okay, although I don't get to see them physically. But, anyway, that's pretty much the crux of that. I've hope I didn't beat up on that too much, but that's really where we're at, and that's why we're upset and we're heartbroken. And Christmas is just not. It's not our year. It's not our time. Well, year, but it's not our favorite holiday. I can't reason with it. Like I said, I stopped. My Christmas spirit died back in 2002 when my parents divorced after 20 years. And it's like, wow, my family's falling apart and I'm supposed to be happy-go-lucky. And, yeah, it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. And now my family is even more separated and broken up and scattered. And I don't know. I just say fuck Christmas and I'm just done with it. So is Dad. But anyway, Dad, was there anything else you wanted to add? Because I'm going to wrap this up here.
Nope, I'm good.
You're all right?
Yep.
Amy, she's in the bedroom. She's been in there for majority of the day. This is going to take the rest of the evening to upload, so I'm going to get scooting here. My nieces and nephews, if you're watching this, we love you. Like I said, I hope we can arrange a time to visit, whether you come here to the house or we meet you somewhere. You can text or email Uncle Jared anytime you want. We love you. Just as long as you know that, we love you. We're not mad at you. We don't hate you. We don't think any less of you because we haven't been able to see the kids, but it does hurt. We know that they're out there. We know that they exist, and it just hurts that we don't get to see them. So, you can call Grandpa. You can call Uncle Jared. You can get a hold of us. Contact us any way you're able to. You got my email address. I hope you got my cell phone number. But if I'm pretty sure Corey, I have her email address, so I can email her and keep in touch. But we really and truly just want this hardship to end, and we want peace in the family. We want to be able to see the grandkids. I want to see my nieces and nephews. I want them to know who their Uncle Jared is. And Dad wants them to know who their grandpa is. So great grandpa, if we're going to talk about the babies.
Grandpa and great grandpa.
Yeah. Uncle Jared and great Uncle Jared. Well, I am great, I know, but don't have to tell me. I was already aware. But that's where we're at. And, we just want some closure. We just want some peace. And we just want for things to be, to have some kind of normalcy somewhere where we actually get to see the kids and we get to physically see them, talk to them, spend time with them, that kind of thing. So, Amy's joining us again. Welcome back.
Sorry it took so long.
Oh, it just took, all day?
Yeah.
I think the number 9 has gone through. You missed the train. You took forever. No.
When they said train, I thought they said brain, so I went to the brain doctor.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's where we're at with Christmas, and it's just not our cup of tea. We just don't give a fuck about it. And if you do, cool. Have at it. More power to you. But we just don't. We don't celebrate it.
I'm not in Christmas this year either myself. I'd rather isolate myself.
Yeah, I'd rather sleep all day or listen to rock and roll music or write a poem or
Netflix is wonderful.
Write in my journal, but not watch movies or TV that's going to depress you even more, because that's just not it. That's not the way to go.
Go sagging on, see some ho-ho-hos. What?
Yeah.
Ho-ho-hos.
But, or I'll, if the roads aren't too bad, I might even just go for a joyride, just get the fuck out of the house. But even still, I don't think I'll do that because Dad wants to spend, we should spend Christmas together, the three of us. But it's another fucking day. But I don't think I could leave home on Christmas Day just to be by myself. Well, because it's Christmas and I want to be with at least one of my parents, Mom, she's living her own life. She's living up where she's living at, up by Mount Pleasant, and we're down here. I told Mom, I texted her, she sent me a picture of my cousin Tony, my late cousin Tony, and his girlfriend, and his then girlfriend, Lynn Long.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was probably shortly before he was killed.
Yeah,
it was back in the early 90s.
Before he got killed.
And I told Mom, I said, you know, the one memory I have of my cousin Tony is when they lived on Craper Road in the farmhouse. He had that, it was hanging from his ceiling. It was suspended from his ceiling. It was a big airplane, but it had Budweiser written on it. It was like an air-inflated kind of an airplane, but it had Budweiser written on it. And I remember looking up at it as a kid and thinking, what is that? Why do you got an airplane hanging from your ceiling? But, yeah, that's one memory I have of Tony and my cousin James, or Jimmy. His name is Jimmy James. James. And my cousin Carol Ann, she lives in Swartz Creek. And Ricky, I think Ricky lives up north. I think he lives up in Greenbush.
He did live in Langsburg for a while.
Oh, he owned a house in Langsburg, but I think he lives up north. I think he lives up in Greenbush, unless he moved again. I have no idea. I haven't seen any of my cousins. I haven't seen any of Aunt Kathy's kids
No, they're all doing
in years, you know. It's been a long time. But I wouldn't mind seeing some of the family again. Some of the family on my mom's side, not all of them, some of them, because I've disowned a lot of them, and for good reason. Huh?
Town. I gotta go uptown.
Oh, Dad's got to go uptown. He was talking to Amy. I thought he was talking to me. I thought he was actually going to add value to the video. Gee, and just say something that's, you know. But no, I there's a lot of the family on my mom's side that I don't speak to, and that's a reason. It's a choice that is strongly justified.
I feel ya.
Strongly justified. Why I don't speak to many members of my mom's side of the family. My own mother doesn't even speak to those people. So what does that tell you? Because she's disowned a good chunk of them, and for good reason. I don't want to really get into that here, but we have reasons. Trust me, we have our reasons.
We won't go into that.
What did I just say, Dad? There must be an echo in here. I just said, for reasons that I choose not to go into.
I got one stuck in my life, and I wished it would come out. Stay out.
But you know, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer for the holidays, because, like I said, I know a lot of you have the Christmas spirit and you enjoy Christmas and you have your reasons, which I understand and we all understand, but it's not for everybody, you know.
Scruffy, you're not in camera.
Hey, Scruff Claus.
He's over here trying to show off, but
Where's Barky Claus at? Oh, he put his head up. I said Barky. Yeah, he put his head up. Barky Claus. His name is Barkley, but we call him Barky sometimes because when he scratches his butt, and every time he goes up, he goes, "Arf! Arf! Arf!" Like he barks every time he scratches his butt when he goes up. He's got what's called elephant skin, and
he's allergic to the fleas also.
yeah, the fleas were fucking awful this year, awful.
Doing better though.
But yeah, well, it's getting colder outside too, and you know one thing we didn't have an issue with this summer?
Mice.
Snakes.
Oh yeah, snakes.
Oh, we've had mice.
I know. I heard you got one.
No.
No, the trap's still set on the stove.
They take peanut butter? I never even looked.
We we had a mouse last night, but we've had issues with mice, definitely.
Yeah, we've even had some where they sneak the peanut butter off the trap.
Oh, the traps are not weak enough to every little move it just that's what it needs to do. But there was that time when I caught like 5 mice in a row in my bedroom because they're coming down from the attic and, oh, Jared's room, that's where the party is. That's the amusement park. You're going to come down and you're just going to die. You know, take the peanut butter and die. But we got one mouse, and he was in the kitchen. We haven't caught him yet, but we will. We'll feed him to the cat. That's how mean we are. That's how inhumane we are.
The only thing is we ought to decide what cat, because we got 2.
Yeah, probably baby boy. I don't know. He eats mice. He's quite the... He'll eat anything. He'll be like...
If Mama don't eat it, he'll eat it.
It's like this. It's like this, right? Scruffy and Barkley. I'm not going to eat it. You eat it. I'm not going to eat it. Hey, let's get baby boy to eat it. He'll eat anything. So we just passed the mice onto the cat. Yeah, something like that, huh? But anyway, I've been here for quite a long time.
It's going to take a long time.
It's going to take all day, like I said.
If not tomorrow.
People are not going to see this video until Monday, Tuesday, whenever they decide to focus their attention on me. But for whatever the reason, I don't know. I'm not that important. But as I stated at the top of this video, there's a lot of dishonesty going on, and I'm going to call it out, and I'm not going to blink an eye. And I don't care who gets mad. I don't care who's offended. And this reverse psychology shit that Tom Mitchell's trying to do is just not going to fucking work, because he already engaged in the, hate Jared Fuller smear campaign, and he jumped on the bandwagon. He realizes he fucked up. Now he's got a guilty conscience. And that's probably why he's been trying to contact me numerous times within the past 8 days. He's been blowing up my house phone, my cell phone, and... guilty conscience, huh? Okay. You know you fucked up, and you know that I know that you fucked up. So, anyway, that's all for this week.
And towards Tom Mitchell, I don't care what you got to say about Jared, because I'm not Jared's mother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
This is Amy.
Yeah.
I'm not Jared's mother.
There's your fucking phone again, Dad.
Jay.
Just...
So it is.
Hello?
So, we'll just wait.
A little bit. A little bit. Trying to get my shoes on.
Oh.
Alright.
Gotta go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
1 second, guys. We'll wait for him to get done.
Alright.
I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow. I like beer. It helps me unwind, and sometimes it makes me feel mellow. Makes him feel mellow. That's how the song ends. With the pop. He goes...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just the...
I thought that was Papa Top.
Well, it is at the beginning. Papa Top begin. I think I'll have another round. Set 'em up, my friend. Expunge my awful singing from this video. Just...
Oh, okay.
I'm not the best singer. But we'll wait for Dad to get off the phone.
Alright. Yeah. Well, I'll hang up then and I'll get around. I gotta go uptown. Alright, son.
That's my brother.
I
On the
can
phone.
go uptown and get it.
Just waiting for the conversation to end so I can end the video.
Alright, son. No. Alright, son. Bye-bye.
I'm not going over because I'm not feeling good.
So are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Phone call's done? Okay. So you got to go over to Jay's?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Gotta move my trailer and that. Probably get my
But-
trailer, bring it back home.
But you can't leave yet because we gotta wrap up this very long Sunday video update, the Christmas edition. I heard a car door shut.
No. Couldn't have been.
Couldn't have been.
No.
So no one can pull in the driveway?
I ain't gonna let them.
Oh.
Only because you're videoing.
Well, I mean, it did sound like a car door. Maybe it was next door.
Probably that's what it was the other day
Yeah.
when you thought you heard a car door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It was next door at our dumb neighbor's house.
No one here, huh?
Anybody?
I told ya.
I was just hearing stuff.
Probably next door.
It probably was next door. But you can't leave yet because we got to wrap this up, Dad.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
It is a Christmas edition of the Sunday Video Update. It's very extensive this week, and you'll probably see this on a Monday or a Tuesday, depending.
Tomorrow.
So have some final words, and
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up.
Bye.
That's it?
Yeah. I ain't got much to say today. Not my day.
I know. It's not mine either. Amy?
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Hopefully everyone has a good one. Peace out.
And I'll say the same, pretty much. I hope everybody has a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you prefer. I don't know where we go from here with this situation. I just don't care. I just don't care. I'm out of fucks to give, just like I said.
Wrap it up.
I just don't care. I'll wrap it up when I'm done saying what I need to say.
Put you on the spotlight.
I hope 2021, I think there's one more Sunday video update, which is the 27th. Yes, the 27th.
Yep.
Sunday, December 27th will be the final Sunday video update of 2020. Yes, I'll be here. And I think it's January 3rd will be the first Sunday of the new year. And starting January 3rd, I will try my hand at a live stream on YouTube. So that way it's not going to take all fucking day to go through and edit and do all that stuff. So just some final words. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, and I hope you're happy and healthy with your families, and think of those who don't have the same opportunity or the same luxury as you do, And yeah, it was an explosive start to the video because I was trying to make a point. That's one thing about me that's never going to change. So you might as well get used to it if you plan on coming back. Much love. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Peace out. I'll see you next week. The final Sunday video update of 2020.